Alright, hello, welcome to Propulsion Gel. These videos are supposed to be fun, but also get your brain gears turning a little bit. Some more Opus Magnum here in this episode, so I'm going to share a few more solutions I've been working on. First one, armor filament right here. Something kind of new. This one has a infinite product. So in theory, it'll keep generating this giant bonded line of iron atoms, just going out to infinity. And it doesn't really work that way. It's just gonna do basically this much and say that's good enough, and hopefully, you know, your machine does actually keep making it, but it doesn't have to. But this one will do just that. It'll keep on going. And I tried to speed it up just a little bit. I have 2 glyphs of projection on either side just to speed up the iron generation a bit. Yeah, so this one's fairly quick. It's 70 cycles. I bring it down to 58 though in the next one I'll show you. Alright, so this next one, 58 cycles, that's pretty fast. It's got a whole bunch of arms. So I think it's 22 arms in total, all in a big long line. If you look at the coding down here, there's quite a lot going on. Took me a minute to get everything organized, but also get the repeats to line up just right. That took some experimentation, and yeah, ultimately so these ones, they can just have the repeat because they're just in charge of the quicksilvers there, whereas these ones are a little more complicated because they have to make sure each one gets 2 quicksilvers, so this one takes twice as long as these guys to go around. So that's why, you know, this one just has these arrows, these repeats. This one I actually have to write it all out. And it is really quick, so 58 cycles, you'll see here. Now I think you could cut down on technically 1 arm, I believe, and still get the same result. Yeah, so 58 cycles, just right there. Not in that tiny little bar. Someone, I saw in a YouTube video, someone else got 49 cycles. So that must be who's in that tiny little category, the top percentile there, as well as a few other people. But yeah, that's part of the reason I like this game so much. You know, everyone can come up with different creative solutions, and many of them will not be the same. The vast majority will not be the same solutions. That's why it's fun to show off what you came up with. Yeah. Alright, for this next one, I wanted to go with something quite simple, fairly affordable, not really use too many components, and it does just that at the cost of cycles. So this one's really going to take its sweet time. Yeah, so we may have seen that rotation there. You'll see what that's for. See, it's going to swing it over because you can't actually change the orientation of this product, and use as little space as possible, or rather as few components as possible. I found it easiest to just attach it in this direction and then just use 1 arm. If we had it kind of horizontal, same orientation as this guy like we had in the last 2 solutions, you'd need an extra arm, or at least an extendable arm, which costs a little bit more money. And then the one thing you could probably cut down in this solution is the track. Now I couldn't figure out how to do it without the track. I'm sure some people did, but the reason for it to be here is you'll notice when I have to pick up the iron, we can't just swing it around, otherwise it'll crash into there. Otherwise, track wouldn't be necessary. Yeah, maybe there's some tricky combination that, could be achieved. Maybe I'll keep working on it. But that's all I have for armor filament. We'll move on to the next one, which is surrender flare right here. Now my first solution is nice and solid, as you might be able to see in the charts right here. It's an all-around good solution. It's actually really good on area. 35 area is pretty good for the first try. And in the top bin, but not top percentile. And I do cut down on it a little bit. So I'll talk a little bit about this problem. The trick to it is turning this iron into that copper in the product. But in order to do that, we have to remove a salt from the side, at least one of these salts, in order to get at that iron in the glyph of projection. Because you need a quicksilver right next to the iron, and that's not possible at this point. So we have to detach a salt and then turn it into copper, reattach that salt, turn it in. And this is the first solution that I came up with. So this first arm's gonna swing it over, and then we remove that salt, reattach, we'll reattach it later, put the quicksilver in. There we go. So now we have copper, and then we reattach the salt. And at that point, at first I was like, all right, let's turn it in. But we actually have this other unbonding piece right here, because as you may see, these two salts actually got bonded in the process of swinging it over. So we have to get rid of that before we turn it in. At first I just, brought it into the product, and I was like, why isn't it working? But yeah, that's why. So we swing them back over, detach those ones, and then reattach that salt right there, then we're good to go. And so that's fairly compact. Again, 35 area is pretty good, but there's a couple ways I could cut down on it. For example, I figured, well, what if I didn't use this arm and just used one like this to bring this guy in? So that's one thing I change. Also, when we bring him over, it's wasting a couple squares there, a couple tiles, not squares. They're all hexagons, but and then also right here, right? We're taking up some extra space right there. Maybe we could reuse that a little bit. Also, we have the product down here. Maybe if we brought that over. Yeah, so those are some things I fix in the next one, a little bit smaller right here. Yeah, so that first arm's gone. Instead, I have this one over here, and then compactified this whole area a little bit. So that's definitely a wasted spot right there, but what are you gonna do? And then move the product placement as well. So yeah, this one's just a little bit smaller, and I really like how it looks, the way that I rotate the product around there. Yeah, reattach that. It's nice. Yeah, so that last one was 35 area. Brought this one down to 30. World record is 24, but I'm happy with 30. So move on to the next solution. This one is not really going for anything other than looking really cool. And so I wanted to do another solution where I kind of split the reagent into two different sections and work on it separately, and then turn in two products right next to each other. And that might be possible to do symmetrically with this one. I chose not to, partly because we just get this one little quicksilver. If I had two, then I could put one on either side. That'd make it really easy, but instead, I made a quick route for this one on this side, and then unfortunately it's a very long route to get to the other side, which you'll see. And then also, interestingly, the way that I ended up with the 2 reagents, you'll see here. So we separated that salt right there, separate this one up there, and right around this stage, it's like, well, this one's just right here, as opposed to having to rotate it all the way back around. And the product's up there. This one still needs to get that iron turned into copper. Why not just swap the 2 salts? So that's what I do. So yeah, it goes ahead and brings the one from this guy over there and brings the one from that guy over there. So I do really like how this one looks. Very creative. I can assure you no one else did this exact solution, for better or worse. Alright, those are the solutions I wanted to show you today. Thank you for watching. I hope you found them interesting or entertaining. If you did, feel free to leave a like down below. If you thought they were really boring, also feel free to leave a dislike down below. And if you want to see more in this series or other puzzle games, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Yeah, thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day.